Tranquilo, don. ¿Seguimos aquí?
Sí, seguimos aquí. Y gracias.
No. Gracias a usted.
When you are born into a Western country, you have the privilege of packing up all of your things, relocating to a different part of the world for a better chance at a better quality life, but also not be labeled an immigrant? No, you're a digital nomad. What's the difference, you ask? A digital nomad is a person who earns a living working online in various locations of their choosing, rather than a fixed business location. And an immigrant is... it's the same damn shit. But no, Daji, an immigrant is a person who moves to a different country permanently. Nah, we not doing that shit today. Buenas, bitches. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Daji Imara. On this channel, we travel the world solo. We learn a couple languages here and there. And most recently, we go on rants about the culture. I love world history. I love learning about human behavior, why we are here today. It's all linked to our history, and I want to get to the root of it all. I want to talk about it, I want to give my opinion, and I want to learn some new stuff. So I am so excited for my favorite video essay I've done so far. You're not a digital nomad, you're an immigrant. Harvard Business Review did a survey, and over 17 million American workers identified as digital nomads, an increase of 131% from 2019. And they also included workers from a wide array of professions. This rise has been fueled by the ease of obtaining a digital nomad visa in many countries post-pandemic. It's not a secret that a large reason why digital nomads settle in very certain countries is because their Western dollars go a longer way in those countries. And so many countries are hopping on this bandwagon. We see so many countries adding digital nomad visas to their immigration roster to help boost their economies and, tax revenue that they have going on over there, child. Because encouraging these people to spend their dollars in these local communities, baby, that country can go from down here all the way up, okay? So it's really, an incentive for the local governments to invite these digital nomads to come live in their country, even if it's for a short time.
Expats and digital nomads, is this actually good for the global community or not? The average digital nomad in Thailand was spending 35% of their income in the local communities, which averaged to about $2,500 a month. That equated to almost $20 billion of Thailand's GDP, which was about 3.6% of their GDP just from digital nomads, which is really incredible. And that's without paying taxes, though. So I think what is also unfortunate about this is people don't pay local taxes. So you think you're contributing to the local community, and you are, in a sense. Of course, you're spending money, but in the same way that tourists spend money. And what would really help is if people were paying taxes in these communities.
This trend of the digital nomad has been accelerating specifically after the pandemic, because we have so many new remote work opportunities. So many businesses have shut down their offices and went strictly remote. And I feel like the pandemic just bred a brand new world. I feel like we still haven't grasped how much of an effect it had on our lives worldwide. People want more than just sit in the office, and being stuck at home made them realize that. So prior to the pandemic, digital nomadness, obviously it was a thing, but it wasn't that popular. What was really popular was like your typical backpacker, okay? Usually somebody who takes a few months off, usually like their gap year after or before college. They go to like South Asia, South America, Europe. They go backpacking for a couple months, and then they usually just return to their lives, or maybe repeat this step again after saving up money over time. But now, baby, the digital nomads are here, and they're ready to stay. But because of this rise of the digital nomad, we are starting to see the effects and similarities that mass immigration to countries that don't really have any regulation, what that effect looks like, what that impact does to this local community. Locals are suffering while these Westerners are escaping their life for, a better quality life. And we're going to get to the bottom of this, okay?
As the digital nomad lifestyle gains popularity, many people are starting to ask an uncomfortable question. Are these remote workers ruining local cultures? While the influx of nomads can bring economic benefits to host communities, it can also lead to significant cultural clashes and discontent among locals. Take, for example, Lisbon, Portugal. Once a charming city known for its history and cultural richness, Lisbon has seen a surge in digital nomads seeking its sunny weather and vibrant lifestyle. However, this influx has sparked tension between long-term residents and newcomers. locals have expressed concerns about rising costs, particularly in housing, as demand drives up rental prices. Many native families find themselves pushed out of their neighborhoods, leading to feelings of marginalization and frustration with the changing cultural landscape.
Okay, I'll give you a second to answer this question. It's racism. Babe, there is nothing more Western than hating non-white people, okay? Let's get into it. You may be thinking, but there were times where mass immigration was encouraged and very much welcomed. Here's the difference. Major moments in history of mass immigration like Ellis Island or the California Gold Rush or the Windward Rush in the UK, those are moments where these Western countries needed to rebuild their economy. And let's be honest, there isn't a Western country that exists that hasn't been this big, powerful machine without free labor, aka slavery, or some type of indentured servitude, okay? Don't be fooled by them just being welcoming to immigrants for no reason. So let's break it down with a few examples. Starting in the late 1800s, most of US immigrants were coming from Germany, Ireland, and England. This was back when America was the land of opportunity, like for real, child, okay? People were fleeing crop failure, land and job shortages, rising taxes and famine. Many came to the US because it was perceived as the land of opportunity. Like, this was the place to be. Like, if you wanted to restart your life, America is where it's at, child, okay? It was like the Atlanta or the Nashville type shit, you feel me? So others came seeking personal freedom and relief from their political and religious persecution. Now, let's go across the pond. You got the Windrush generation over there in the UK, honey. So if y'all not familiar with the Windrush, after World War II, the UK needed to rebuild the economy, so they start inviting people over from the Caribbean. So the countries such as Jamaica, Trinidad, St. Lucia, Grenada, Barbados came over here to work, aka be indentured service. Because you, like I said, they wasn't just like, come on over here, we want more of y'all, we want more diversity. Girl, please. However, it was unequally a win-win because a lot of the economies in those Caribbean countries were also going through a lot of shit, and these people needed work, so they moved over to the UK. A lot of them became manual workers, drivers, cleaners, nurses, mammies, all type of shit for these white people, and they helped stimulate their economy. Didn't I tell you earlier that Western countries cannot survive without people that are this color fixing shit up for them, okay? It ain't gonna happen. So as you see, there was a time immigrants were something that Western countries needed a piece of, honey. But like, what happened after that? We have kind of seen like a shift to the right in kind of like all nations everywhere. Like, if you're not living under a rock and not paying attention to politics, maybe you know what's going on. Western nations are getting scared, baby. The white race is dwindling and they don't know what to do. They clutching their girls, child. Oh my gosh. White people do not want to be the minority, okay? They are not having it. So they're starting to become a lot more like belligerent and xenophobic. And the thing is, like, as long as I've been alive, there's always been like a widespread hate, at least in the United States, of like Latinas, Muslims, and Africans. Like, that's not anything new, but it's much more visible as the past few years have been. And I wonder why. I wonder why that may be. So I personally believe that like the recent like immigration hate has a lot to do with the financial, the economic hardship that people are experiencing, and they need somebody to blame. And it does not help that all of the world leaders right now seem to be encouraging and contributing to that hate, which is making people much more radical and fearful of things that they shouldn't be. And immigrants, they just taking on the shit. And I'm not here for that. We're not doing that. Not on my watch. Let's set the record straight. Not all immigrants are just these poor people who are seeking refuge, who didn't have nothing in their home. A lot of immigrants are rich or middle class. Okay, a lot of them come over here, they're already educated, they already got a whole life going on. They just want to move to another place. Like, it's as simple. Some of them just simply don't want to live in their home country and they want to see what's up with these Western countries. Immigration is not anything new at all. Think of like Dubai, for example. Only 25% of the population are natives. The median income is over 50,000 USD. So that doesn't really sound like the stereotypical immigrant to me. I don't know about y'all, okay? But when you think of an immigrant, you think of somebody who ain't got shit. And that's not always the case. But immigration is only sexy if you are rich or somebody who's going to be largely contributing to the economy with your wealth. Therefore, if you're not one of those people, you are frowned upon. A lot of immigrants are sold this dream, specifically in America, where they're going to come over here and their life is going to be better and everything's going to be so much easier. And they're lied to a lot about what the actual reality is of living in this country. For a lot of them, living over here with all of this pros and cons that come with being in America, a lot of it is great. A lot of it is better than what's in their home country. But a lot of it is just propaganda bullshit. I cannot tell you how many times I've been told to my face or heard through the grapevine through other people that African Americans were just these lazy people that just let bad things happen to us and we don't take advantage of these opportunities. So just fuck the 400 years of oppression. Just fuck that. Or just the fact that that's not true. It's just not, okay? And then, like, lastly, I've also been seeing, like, specifically with this recent election, a lot of immigrants are starting to get real cocky over here. Like, they are starting to feel better than illegal immigrants or immigrants who are, like, waiting on their paperwork, their green cards and things like that. Like, that American cockiness is rubbing off on them, and not in the good ways, okay? Not in a very humble way. A lot of them are getting very arrogant and thinking now that they have a little bit more proximity to whiteness, that it's going to shield them from all of this immigration hatred recently. And you know, African Americans, we've been taught since birth that it doesn't matter what you look like, your education, how you talk, how you walk, you're never going to be seen equal as them. But it seems like a lot of immigrants and people of color got to learn the hard way when it comes to that. So we see a lot of immigrants who've got their papers voting against immigration when it's like, baby, your shit can be snatched from you. You might have been naturalized, but that can be snatched from you at any given moment, voting for this man. But this isn't about politics all the way. It is, but it's not. We're not going to get into the election, but like, I just got to put that out there since it's recent. There are some like negative impacts of immigration, like mass immigration, such as like, it could lead to like crowding in schools and hospitals, public funding being drained. I have zero confidence that the people who are against immigration even have done their research on the negative aspects of immigration. They just like hating people of color. That's really what it comes down to. So I'm not even going to use that as like a con, because like, let's be serious. Y'all don't know what's going on government spending wise. Like, serious.
The Save Europe crowd are so blinded by hatred and racism that they can't even see that it's not asylum seekers and immigrants who are ruining their countries and contributing to their inability to survive in their own cities, but rather people from wealthy countries like America who are moving to their countries and contributing to the unsustainable cost of living. We have seen the direct correlation between digital nomad visas, golden visas as well, and the effect that it has had overwhelmingly on people who live in Italy, Spain, Greece, Portugal, and other countries around Europe. Because if we're talking about facts, asylum seekers and refugees actually make up a very meager percentage of most European countries. But we have seen a direct correlation between the accessibility of digital nomad visas and other visas that typically appeal and are only accessible to wealthy people.
There's a level of ignorance that kind of comes with both the immigrant and a digital nomad. I talked about the immigrants before, but like with a digital nomad, I feel like they don't really understand that they are contributing to the gentrification, because they see this cool life that they're in. Like, wow, I get to spend my Western dollars and be rich in this other country. Basically, I get to have my dream life and the freedom and this and that and the third. So then they're creating content like, leave your boring life, get a remote job and move over here. But it's like, baby, people lived in those countries. You got it. Like, people need their economy to be able to still live there. But also to contradict that, like, a lot of digital nomads and aka tourism can like re-stimulate economies. That has happened a lot in the recent years, where countries, cities, locations, whatever the case, that were kind of like not really making any money. They're making money now because of tourism. So they're bringing jobs, they're bringing opportunities, they're putting these countries on the map, these locations on the map. So it does have a lot of positive when, you know, we get a lot of new tourist spots, you know, popping up on the radar. So here's my thoughts. There's a very elitist and racist undertone with the term digital nomad. Like I mentioned before, digital nomads, even though they're not moving to these locations permanently, they're impact is permanent. They are rising the cost for locals, causing gentrification. They also tend to like cause a lot of ruckus. I don't even know why I'm using that word in these local communities by like these because like when they're stimulating the economy and these locations have to grow, they got to start making more attractions for Western tourists, and then that causes workers that need to speak English. They need to be able to cater to Western needs. The customs might be a lot different. Like for example, in America, we are very much a customer's right environment. A lot of other countries may not be that way. So we see people having to reaccustom themselves on their own land to Westerners. And also what I'm not enjoying about the term immigrant is that it's only like this one ideation. It is somebody that is poor, somebody that is seeking refuge. Their country is terrible. It's worse, and America is just this beautiful land that's going to save them. Not all immigrants are created equally. You being an immigrant does not mean that you have struggled financially and you had these language barriers you had to go through and all of these hardships. You could have very much just wanted to just leave your country. In fact, when you move to the United States and you already have education and money, they probably going to slide your green card up under the table and be like, come on, you can come on through, baby. We got you. Like a lot of immigrants that already have education and stuff have a much easier transition into the United States than those who just want to move here. Just to, you know, become a citizen eventually. Have a secondary education. Immigrants working in the U.S. are going to be locked into their employer with like, I think it's like the H-1B visa. But that doesn't allow them a lot of flexibility. So it's like they can't get fired or lay off from that job or they're fucked. Okay. But in the same vein, I also don't believe that like you should never be able to travel to other parts of the world. This, you know, even if it's just for a short period of time. I'm sure this is very American of me, entitled, but like I don't feel like you should have to be confined to the country you were born in because you don't have a choice in that. Nobody asked where they're born. So in my opinion, like it's fine if you want to try and explore other places of the world and you want to immigrate to other places in the world. But I also feel like if countries don't want to be welcoming to tourists, I think that's fine too. Like you also, I don't feel like countries need to allow people into their country. If they want to add more regulations and fees to tourism, by all means, do what you got to do to stimulate your economy and keep your people safe. I'm fine with that as well. I don't think that that's an issue. Because at the end of the day, you know, tourism could just be disturbing up the peace and fucking up everything for everybody. Everybody don't want to be the Paris, the London, the New York City. Like some people just like being chill, have your occasional tourist vacationer come, have a conversation, keep it pushing. Everybody don't want to be the it city, okay? Some people just like a homogeneous society. Yeah, because like as an American, we can get very, you know, customer first and very entitled. You need to cater to me, and people don't want to deal with all that. I don't give a F for what's going on in your country, okay? When you get up across the pond, we got our own set of rules over here, okay? But again, digital nomads, I think y'all need to start being much more conscious, aware of what you are encouraging and the message you're saying. I hate the whole this place is so cheap and it's the best life over here, because like what's great for you is misery for another place. We are seeing so many places where people are getting kicked out of their neighborhoods because all these places are being built for these Westerners who have these salaries to be in these nice neighborhoods and apartments. It's just so gross to me. And it's like, digital nomads, you as a person, as a traveler, it's not that I'm saying we shouldn't encourage immigration or anything like that, or you shouldn't tell people that you just need to stay in your homeland, but be more careful around the language you are using when you are trying to put people on to the digital nomad life. You know, that's what I'm saying. It's like in one, yeah, you're opening people's eyes up, but like you're also creating an influx of entitled ass people moving to these countries thinking that they deserve a specific treatment because they have these Western dollars that move a long way. No, that's so trifling. That's so trifling to me. Like, as somebody who travels a lot, I am in so many groups. And a lot of digital nomads thinks because of that, the rules don't apply to them. I'm in so many travel like Facebook groups, and there's always some young person. If I want to stay in this country past my visa, like what's going to happen? What's the workaround? Babe, you're an illegal immigrant at that point. Take your ass out the country and then come back legally. Like, yuck. Like, why are you trying to break the rules? You're not special. You're not. Like the digital nomads are like, come on over to this country, it's so cheap, you don't even have to speak the language, everybody speaks English. I'm sorry, that is so trifling to move to another country and not learn any of their language and just rely on them being English speakers. You're trifling as fuck. I'm sorry, but that is so trifling. Like digital nomads that don't even attempt to integrate themselves into the culture, into the language, don't learn basic greetings and conversation. You're trifling as fuck. And this is the video. This video is for you. You specific. You type of, that's the digital nomad I'm speaking to in this video, okay? There are plenty of pros and cons of this new immigrants variant going around. And it's not to shame anybody who is a digital nomad, because I've used that verbiage before, but like as I've just started educating myself, what's the difference? I'm an immigrant. No, I'm not an expat, a digital, like shut the F up, okay? You're just an immigrant with a remote job.